We are lifers, and this is Magic for Life. What's up, lifers? Michael Johnson here, and I'm excited that you've joined me for part 11 of the How to Feel Good series. And what we're going to talk about today is SOPs for daily life. Right? We've talked about all these different ways to start practicing and getting better at feeling good. Right? We have started to learn that feeling good is in our control, that we can take back that control. We learned that on the first day, right? And so we know we can take control, but you know what? We're human and we make mistakes and we are variable. We have different things come up, and life and experience in life has to be contrast and changes. Otherwise, we would get bored out of our mind. And so, as the changes and as the contrast and as the different things come about in our life, there are different things that will challenge you. Now, we prepared for that ahead of time when we said, hey, make a plan, take inventory, right? Preemptive strike, go back to the past, try to remember things that have happened to you and how you might deal with them in the future based off of what different new meanings you can give to them. See, these are all the things that we've been talking about, but now we want to make some plans. We want to create some SOPs. Now, follow me. If you're not sure what an SOP is, it stands for Standard Operating Procedure, right? So we want some standard operating procedures. If you have a business or if you are a business owner, an entrepreneur of any kind, we know that if you have any process in your business that you are going to do more than 3 times and continue to do the same exact way, we're going to create a standard operating procedure for those things. This is a really big deal, right? Because you want to be able to save time and energy, and you want to be able to automate things that you can do over and over and over again. This is a really big deal, really big deal, because in so many instances you hear about people doing things, learning how to do something. They say, you know what, everything was going well, life was going well, and then all of a sudden everything changed and it all fell apart. And when I ask them, why did that happen? The first thing they say, well, I don't know, right? It's always because we don't know. And I say, well, what were you doing before? And as we take inventory and we start to figure out how to close that gap, it almost inevitably comes back that they were doing a thing or a set of things. And then something happened in life and they stopped doing that set of things. And then all of a sudden, things started to fall apart. This is totally what happens to so many. Ask yourself, has this happened to you before? The likelihood is it potentially has. And so what we want to do is we want to start to create SOPs for daily life. Now, we are particularly talking about how to feel good, right? And the SOP that goes with how to feel good. So we are specifically talking about this, right? Not necessarily for business. And so I want you to think about the SOPs for feeling good. Maybe you've attained that feeling good state. Maybe it was a 2-week period. Maybe it was like, do you remember between like 1985 and 1990? Those were 5 good years. And you kind of look back and you go, well, what was I doing? Well, maybe there was an exorbitant amount of gratitude going on. Maybe everything that was happening you were grateful for. And then maybe you lost some of that gratitude. Maybe you forgot. Maybe you got out of the habit and things started to slip. You see, it wasn't just because it was the 80s. I mean, because we know the 80s were pretty cool, right? But it was because maybe you had created a routine and then you fell away from that routine. You see, I've watched it happen with basketball players, and if you've been following me on this series, you know that sometimes basketball players will all of a sudden start to miss their free throws or they'll miss their shot. It's because some of their routine has changed. And they went through their standard operating procedure, and then all of a sudden something happened, it got them out of their mix, it got them out of their normal, and all of a sudden their shot was off. And they had to go back and they had to get back on track again to create a standard operating procedure for how to shoot that free throw or how to go back to their regular shooting stroke. We have to do the same for what we're doing. You know, periodically I'll check in and to see how effective my drying off getting out of the shower is, right? Because I want to make it effective and efficient. I don't want to spend any more time drying myself off than I have to. I want it to be perfect. I'm only half kidding, right? So here's the thing, right? We have SOPs for daily life. So what are we going to do? Well, we've got to start we don't want to get crazy now. I mean, you can be inundated with SOPs, and if you talk to an organizer, they will give you a whole slew of them. In fact, they're excited to sell you them. They're excited to get them in your hands. Let me get you my SOPs for doing this. In fact, take all of my SOPs and it'll run your business perfectly, and then you see them and you don't know what they do. Right? So what we want to do is we want to create our own SOPs, your SOPs that are unique to you. So along this process, during this series, through all of the different parts that we've been through, we have had you taking actions and doing different things. Some of them you liked, some of them you went, no, that's not for me. That's cool. You are as unique as your thumbprint, and I am not saying that each one of these SOPs is perfect for you, or maybe the action is perfect for you. You might have to tweak it. You might have to adjust it a little bit, but the concept is sound. The fundamental foundation of what it is that I'm asking you to do is sound. And so what I want you to do is I want you to start to think about some of those things that you really enjoyed so far. Maybe it was one of the gratitude exercises. Maybe it was one of the preemptive exercises. Maybe it was giving new meaning to different situations and practicing that. I don't know which ones you really liked. Maybe it's all of them, okay? And really, we could actually put them all into an SOP. Pretty interesting idea, right? But for today, let's start with 5 of the favorite things that you've done in all of the parts. Now, we're on episode 11. We've done a lot of things so far, right? But I want you to start with 5 actions that you've done and get them on a list. Write them down. I do love when you write them down. There's something really visceral and wonderful about the experience of writing something down. If you have to use your phone, you can write them in your phone. That's cool. I get it. But if you can write it down, get a pencil, get a piece of paper, get a journal, get something to write it down. It really does make a difference. Okay, I want you to pick your 5 favorite actions, the ones that really resonated with you, the ones that really just, you were like, yeah, that was good. That was a good day. I loved when I was doing those things. And we've done a bunch, so if you haven't watched all the other episodes, go back and watch them, for goodness sakes, and do them. Don't just watch them, okay? Don't just listen, actually do. So you got your 5 actions. Now, we're going to write those down, and we said that. We're going to write them down, get a journal, or get something, get a piece of paper, get a note card, and write them down, right? And what I want you to do at that point is I want you to test it for 3 to 5 days, all right? 3 to 5 days. I want you to test that, because I'm not saying by any means that the first thing you do when you write those actions and when you're going to do them in the morning, in the afternoon, at 6 o'clock, at 6:04. I'm going to do this for how long, for when, and how you're going to accomplish those are important in those 5 actions. And you're going to write all that stuff down. We're going to test that for a few days. In fact, you might test it on the first day and go, no, that's not going to work, right? And we do that as entrepreneurs, as business owners, as creative minds. The things that you've been good at in the past, you've tested something, you've tried something, and you tried it out for a little bit and you went, oh, that's not the best. Let's tweak it and let's adjust. See, for you, you need your own unique SOP for your daily life of how you are going to maintain feeling good as much of the time as possible. Now, don't get me wrong, feeling good isn't always happy, and that's another conversation, but I just want to plant that seed. Sometimes feeling good is feeling the way that you want to feel, and that might be sad at the moment. That's another conversation, but you'll understand it when we get to it. So I want you to test it for 3 days. So we're going to write that down here. Test for 3 to 5 days. Yeah? Test for 3 to 5 days. These are your standard operating procedures. Guys, please go do this. Go do this. Take some time today. It's not going to take that long. We've been doing it. And if you've been doing this with me so far, so good, then you know that you can go test this and write all these things down. And you can try it for a few days and see how it goes, and then you can tweak it. If you need to tweak it after the first day, by all means, please tweak it. But if you can actually run it for a few days and see how the overall feel of it is, then we can adjust it, then you can test it, and that's on your head. You got to do that. You got to test it. We got to create some good SOPs so that we can work towards our personal legend and work on experiencing life at the next level. And this is how you do it. Guys, thank you for joining me today. This has been a fun episode, and I'm excited to hear about those. I want to see in the comments that, hey, I did my SOP. Hey, I created my first SOP for my daily life and how I'm going to feel good on a regular basis using all the things that we've talked about thus far. So go create your SOP, write in the comments below that you did it. Hey, I did it. Just declare to the world, I did it. I created my SOP. I'm excited to hear about it. And of course, as usual, don't forget, keep finding the magic for life. Hey lifers, have you ever been taught the skill set of feeling good? Most people haven't. It's so easy to fall into the trap of going through life not feeling good, or even worse, feeling mediocre. You don't have to settle. You don't have to let social media dictate how you feel. You don't have to give up your control over your life to other people in the world. It's time to take back control of how you feel. It's time to learn the skills of how to feel good, on purpose, on demand, and most importantly, from the inside out. I'm on a mission to help people just like you take back your life, grab a hold of your personal legend, and take your daily experiences to the next level. You can feel good on purpose. You don't need Netflix, you don't need food, you don't need anything outside of yourself. You can feel good on demand because you decided to, and because it's a skill set. You can practice, get better at, and even master that skill set. You can feel good from the inside out. You don't need things, situations, or people to be responsible for making you feel anything. If you're ready, and maybe even if you're not, this is your chance to change your stars, to change your life at the most fundamental level, how you feel. Join me for the upcoming Feel Good Challenge. I challenge you right now, come and learn the skill set you should have been taught as a child. Take the Feel Good Challenge, take the rest of your life back. Go to takethefeelgoodchallenge.com right now and sign up while you still can. That's takethefeelgoodchallenge.com. We'll see you there.